Okay, I think it's recording.
Hello, everybody. Hi, everybody. Boy, what a beautiful room that we have here with all of you loved ones that just are here to honor my big sister, but she was much more than a sister to me. She was a great wife, a lover of life, a wonderful grandmother, and a great sister for all of us Gold Camps, and for her cousins who are here. We thank you for coming today and enjoying this time together. Let's see, I got to bring it up again. I'm going to start off with the song. It just kind of popped into my head while I was thinking of my sister, and I've sung the song many times before, but you're welcome to join in. It's a song that you would probably recognize. Is this the little girl I carried? Is this the little boy at play? I don't remember growing older. When did they? When did she get to be a beauty? When did he get to be so tall? Wasn't it yesterday when they were small? Sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset, swiftly flow the days. Seedlings turn overnight to sunflowers, blossoming even as we gaze. Sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset, swiftly fly the years, one season following another, laden with happiness and tears. Thank you, Lord, for bringing all these wonderful people together. And that's all I really wanted to say is that Barb was an exceptional person, and we'll all miss her deeply. And that's all I have to say. And what I'd like to do is invite any of you that would like to come up and share a kind word or a little story. Of course, keep it brief. That's what they always say. But anyway, I don't know, immediate family or sons or granddaughters or Wanda, sister-in-laws. I know Wanda has some wonderful things to share to you, and we just wanted to come together today because we all knew what Barbara was going through, and it was really tough, the last few weeks, the last month or so, and this is a special time to give her honor and to let us know how important she was in our lives.
Thank you.
There you go, dear. Getting up the glasses.
Well, okay.
You're welcome.
Do I do anything?
No, you can just talk right into it. I think try it out.
Okay. Can you hear?
Go ahead.
No, it's on.
Okay.
It's on.
Okay. Well, obviously, I'm just gonna read something. It's been in my life since I was a very little girl. She was kind beyond belief to me. She held confidences and encouragement and never turned away from me ever. I got to spend the week with Barbara right before she was diagnosed. And it was just a gift from God. We spent almost the time working, getting one house cleared up to the other. But we had such a good time. We laughed, we sang. I got rid of her dreads. I told her, I said, I didn't know you were my soul sister. And I sang it to her. I won't do it for you because I loved her more. To say that I love this woman would be an understatement. Saying that I was devastated would be even more. Barbara was a good friend, good confidant, a great sister-in-law. She was a great daughter-in-law to my mother. And even the last time she called, really unable to speak the way she would like to, she took the time to be kind to my mother. Talked about what a great mother-in-law my mother was to her and how much she appreciated it. And she wanted her kids to know what a great mother-in-law she was. She was a great daughter-in-law every year, long after. She would make my mother Christmas cards, personal notes, beautiful individual handmade Christmas cards. The week we had together was full of joy, but we did get to talk about important things like the Lord. And I know I will see her, and I know she's with Suzanne and with my mom and with her mom and dad. So I'll just say that the Bible says that the friend gives pleasant, sincere advice, seeking our highest good. Friends honor each other above themselves. Friends love each other the way as Christ loves us. And friends challenge each other to meet the highest good. Barbara was my friend. She was my sister-in-law. She is my soul sister. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm really loud.
My name is Millie. And like most of you in this room, known Barbara since I was 11 years old. In our neighborhood, I remember exactly, I could walk to the street exactly where she lived, next to Santa Rita Catholic Church. I remember her mother, Margaret. I don't remember much about her father, but I do remember that. The thing about Barbara was that when she and my brother were divorced, she said to me, I guess I'm not family anymore. And I told her, no, you will always be family. Last time I saw her was when she was living in the Cumbria area up north. And she was now married to a guy named John. And she was so gracious. And he was a gracious man too. But the thing that I remember most about her was that whenever I needed her, she was there. When I was getting married and I used to make my own clothes, believe it or not, I was having a hard time with the collar. And I was telling her, she says, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm having a hard time with the collar. She says, oh, just come down, sweetie. She would say sweetie all the time. So she fixed it for me. Then a few years later, when I moved back to the area and I had my first child, and in those days, Pampers were nowhere to be found. But I had cloth diapers. And in our house, we had a washing machine, but not a dryer. So she was living down the street and I called. And she never said anything other than, come on, sweetie. She always called me sweetie. And she never, ever said no. It was like the word just did not exist for her. I shall always, always remember. And I'm going to say something that I don't want anyone to be offended. But I'm glad I did not see her in the last days. I want to remember Barbara as a vibrant, excitable, walking with a lot of exuberance, a loving kindness that is rather unusual to find in one single person. Collectively, we all are, but she was, and I will never, ever forget her. Even when I heard that she had ALS, I called her. And I just said, Miss Millie, oh, and she was so happy. Like we were still right there next to each other. There was just something remarkably beautiful. She loved and never stopped loving, which is really what we all need to be doing. So I'm thankful to the Lord for the part that she played in my life and the life of my father, my family. And then there's something special for the Gold Camps, the whole family. I just really, really honor each and every one of you. And now that you all have your own families, your own children, and I understand somebody has some grandkids, I can't believe that. But the Gold Camps have always been to me a model. I don't want to say like the Waltons, but a model of what a family should be like. I don't know the negative stuff that went on, and I don't need to know it. All I know that what I know is that I love each and every one of you Gold Camps, and I loved her. Thank you.
Well, I'm very happy to be here. I flew all the way from Oahu, Hawaii, and the Gold Camps are very special people. We all love them. And Paul, Brian, my brothers and sisters, all 5 of us are here. My sister-in-law, Judy, there's Anne, and there's Robert, and there's, well, so many. I remember when we were children, David. Sorry. I remember when the Gold Camps came over to our house, and Manuel and Barbara liked each other very much. As a matter of fact, they had announced their engagement. And I said to Richard, oh, Richard, maybe one day we can marry. He's going to deny it. But he said, oh, the family secrets.
We love it over here.
Yes, it was just, yes, we're a family who just got along wonderfully well. And all praise to God because they were members of the Catholic Church, St. Rita's, and we were members of the United Presbyterian Church, which was just down the block from St. Rita's. And so all familiar territory. We love the gold camps, each and every one of you. And it's so wonderful to see the children of Manuel and Barbara, Paul, Brian, and there's a third one who is not with us. And they are the Goldcamp family, Robert, and Anthony, where's Michael? I haven't seen Michael yet. Okay, all right, he's not here, but we think of him, of course. Anne, wonderful to see Anne, and just all the nieces and nephews. I have two great nieces who visited me in Oahu about a year and a half ago or so, and we all had a wonderful time, and I look forward to your visits again. So, Kate? Yeah,
Yeah, Kate in Minnesota.
yeah, she's in Minnesota.
Yeah, she would love to be here and I'll be sending her.
Please, and when
Yeah,
you,
she got to spend a whole week with Barbara a few months ago. Oh. So Kate's little sister, our baby sister, was with her.
so thank you for coming, and thank you for coming from so far away. And Emmanuel, it's so good to see my brother. He's the senior member of the family. And so we respect him and we love him. And thank you. And thank you, Judy. Thank you, Judy, for being the exceptional sister-in-law and daughter-in-law, and most a wonderful wife to my brother. Thank you so, so much. God bless all of you.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? For those of you who don't know me, I'm Manuel's second wife. Barbara and I were wives-in-law, I guess you might want to call it. I have to tell you, probably a lot of you don't know how hard it is for two wives sharing the same husband's children and so on and so forth. Most people can't put that together and be civil with each other. Barbara and I always made a point, for the kids especially, to be there together, to support them. And Barbara and I really cared about each other. Barbara has sent me flowers many times. She spent the night in my house when the kids were little at Christmas time. Every time I see her, we hug, we kiss, and it's just like she was my sister. I loved her, and I know how hard this is for everybody. I miss her just as much as you do. I'm looking at Ann over there. Sorry. But Barbara was a very special person to me. And I remember I wanted to share a story when Robin and Brian got married. Came time for the toast and nobody wanted to do it. So I said, okay, fine, I'll go and do it. So I went over to Barbara and I told her the situation. She goes, well, I'll come with you. So the two of us went up and held hands together and said our toast to Brian and Robin. Now, how many people can do that? Robin's sister came to me later and she said, I can't believe you two can actually be in the same room and talk to each other. So I said something to Barbara and she goes, you know, it's easy, we do it. So I just wanted to say to Barbara in heaven, we love you. We will see you again. And I know she's going to be with each one of you. I know you believe. And I just wanted to give my support to the boys because I love you very much. And I just made Brian cry, so I'm done.
No, Bryn, are you next? It's so big. Look at the size of my head. No. All right, you guys, thank you everybody for coming from far, from near. Thank you. Like everybody in this room has a story about Barb. And I can guarantee you that none of it, like there's not one negative story about her. And like when people were RSVPing and even when they couldn't make it, everybody told me a good story about Barb and how good she was. She didn't talk bad about anybody. She loved everybody. She accepted everybody. And it's like, wow, this woman was very close to me and like a very good role model to me. And it's like, that's what life's about. It's not about the money or what you get, but it's about how you impact people's lives. And she was a huge impact on my life. The second I met her, she welcomed me. She was a really good mother-in-law. She was a really good person. She was an awesome mother, an awesome grandma. Just like the story I remember, and I love this story, is when Bryn got her permit, Barb took her out for 2 hours driving around up and down in front of her house, around Escondido, had her drive everywhere. And that's just the kind of person she was. She gave 110%. And to see a room full of people who love her and will miss her, it's like, that's what life's about. And so like, I love all of you guys and I thank you for being here. And I just feel so blessed to have gotten to know Barb and had her as my mother-in-law and a friend and a family member. I feel really, really blessed. So.
Yes, and at this time, I'd like to give honor to Barbara's late parents, Mrs. Goldkamp and Mr. Goldkamp. And I want you to know that the reason all the Goldkamp children and grandchildren are such great citizens is the great example that was before them. And I want you to know how much honor it was when both the Riveras and the Goldkamps got together. Even one members of the St. Rita's and then the other church, the St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church, we were Christians and we were reminded behavior is the essence that reflects the glory of God.
Okay.
And it's wonderful to see my brother Manuel. And it's wonderful to see Judy. Judy, thank you for taking such great care of my brother. Thank you so much. And for being a great mother to Brian and Paul and the late Susie. We remember Susie as well. David, Wanda, Millie, Melanie, thank you so much. I love all of you, and I will always remember this moment. Aloha.
Would anybody else like to come up? Don't be bashful now. We're all family and whatever you want to share. Here's this wonderful young man I want to introduce. One of my favorite nephews, and then here's one of my favorite cousins.
Hi.
Mary Goldcamp.
Yeah.
Yes, a Goldcamp.
Hi, I know how to talk in a microphone. My mom's sitting over there going, somebody should tell a funny story, somebody should tell a funny story, so here we go. We had St. Patrick's Day parties every year from like the time I was 12 on. And every year we had different people, we would have a bigger crowd, we would have a lower crowd, whatever. Well, one year we invited Barbara and Peter, and they came, and Mom decided that everybody who wasn't Irish needed to follow a certain tradition and had a blue tub in the middle of the living room, no water, but you had to go and dance in the pig trough. And she made the biggest deal. She's rolling up her pant legs and she's asking, you know, if she's gonna get paid for it, if anybody's taking pictures, we have a video, and what are we gonna do with it? So it was really, really fun. She was always such a happy, happy person. And the other thing was that she, one day she really surprised me. I moved into Pacific Beach. I'd only been there a couple of months, and Mom was over. We were having tea in the kitchen, and all of a sudden, somebody rings the doorbell. I'm like, nobody visits me. Nobody's ringing my doorbell. And I looked around the corner and I didn't recognize her. And I'm like, who is this woman on my porch? And I went over and she goes, Mary. And I'm like, oh. You know, when I got all excited, you know, and she came in and she stayed for about 2 or 3 hours, and we just had like a little tea chat in the kitchen and just visited and heard stories from one another. And it was such a loving moment. And I always saw her as someone who had such a wonderful sense of humor. And she was always so kind, like everybody has said. But she also had an intuition as to how to help people. This is gonna be really hard. I have bipolar disorder. And every once in a while I have a really bad day. And we had the beach picnic where everybody, all the Goldcamps came together and had our little reunion, and it's so wonderful when we do that. I love it. And this year she was there, and I was not in the mood. And I walked off and went and sat on a log that was over away from everybody else. And she came over and she sat next to me. She didn't say anything. She didn't ask any questions. She just sat there. It meant more than anything anybody else had done in a very long time. Sorry, I ugly cried. It's like gargoyle. Really me, it is. So anyway, I just wanted to share those 3 things. And I thank everybody for coming, and for you guys for doing such a beautiful job putting this together. I know how hard that is. So God bless you.
He's got his hands full.
I know, I see that. When does it make his hands fall?
I didn't do it. I honestly just want to hear more stories. So I look forward to hearing more stories after this, if you guys are willing. I didn't know Barbara that well, actually. So I'll speak to what I know. And what I know is, I'm Robert Goldcamp's son, if you didn't know. I know some of you, I don't recognize you, if you recognize me. Okay, cool. I'm sure my kids will be the same when, you know, their cousins get older and my cousins get older and such. But I love hearing the stories that you guys have to share. What are you doing? Okay. And because I didn't really know her that well, as I said, I get to see some of these pictures while you share these stories, and I get to know her a little bit more. It's a beautiful thing. What I do know about her, and what is evident in the stories that I've heard so far, is that she's very joyful. I remember going up and seeing her house up in Cambria, I think it was. Spent some time up there. And enjoying my time immensely. And I remember all the times that she's been down here in San Diego area. And the times we got together at my grandpa Brennan's place, which is Richard's place. And she's always joined us at the beach, in the house, Cambria. Apparently, with whoever husband she's with, she's happy. Very blissful.
I wasn't gonna go there. Barbara was a lover.
Yes. Well, I could see that joy, so. Wait, your turn is next. I could see that joy in her sons here. Paul, Ryan. And, you know, those personality traits are very evident in both of you guys. And I can't imagine what you're going through, except to hear these stories is a blessing. It's a balm of sorts. And I look forward to hearing more stories. I kind of do want to make a public commitment for my wife to hear, so she hears, is to pray for my Aunt Barbara's soul. I don't know where all you at with regards to those such things. But in the Catholic tradition, we believe in the soul and we want to pray for such things. Go to heaven, to purgation. And I definitely want to pray for her. We have this thing called a novena. We pray a form of prayer called a rosary. I want to make a commitment to do such a thing. My wife's going to keep me to it. And if you're inclined to pray for the way you see fit, I would take Pascal's wager in thinking the soul that we have is worth the prayer. And Aunt Barbara was so joyful. You know, I just think it would be something of a worthy commitment for me to make. So I will be praying for her from this day forth, and specifically for these 9 days. And I'd like you for also inclining you to also commit in the way that you see fit. Oh, my arm was tired. So, yeah, I just want to share that for my part. She's a very joyful woman, and I'm very happy to have known her from my father. I'm also some of you mentioned St. Rita's. I've worked recently at St. Rita's Christmas Center, and it's neat to see the whole family house, and to see like, oh, my father lived there with Aunt Barbara and everyone else, and they just walk across the street to church, you know. And I helped out with the electrical side of the school build, the new stuff, and it's like, it's nice to see a I feel like the gold camp is back here doing something at this parish. And so, you mentioned that, so I figured I'd mention that as well. Thank you for coming. Thank you for who put this together. I think Paul or Brian, Robin, Caroline. Okay, Robin, thank you so much. Yes, and thank you for the pictures.
Oh, it's heading out? All right, see you later. Oh, thanks for coming. Yes. I was gonna, is anybody else on to come up? And, okay, what I'd like to do is introduce, Sam Hawkins. Sam was his family, very close friends of us, you know, especially my brother Robert. The Hawkins were the rhythm section for my brother's many bands that he belonged to. That first band, the very first. Yeah. Anyway, he'll take from there. But Sam, his family are very close friends of ours, and he'd like to share something about the family.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that when I first went to St. Rita's, I had to skip first grade. They put me in a class that was ahead with my brother. So from that point on, school in St. Rita's was kind of like a surreal experience for me. And shortly after that, as I approached fourth grade, eighth grade, fourth grade, whatever, we met the Gold Camp family. And they were like the strangest family I've ever seen. Every single one was different. I mean, you see how Richard and Rob were. And Rob was just like, he came up, it was just like, by the time we went to Lincoln, he was like the only white guy that would dare do the things that everybody else was doing. Music and basketball. And so he stood out.
White boys can't jump.
Yeah, no, he couldn't jump. Yeah, the worst looking jump shot ever. But Richard could. And I just want to mention that his mom and dad, of course, if anybody knew them, of course, they were just about like polar opposites from each other. And we used to have a few aside jokes about his mother, but she was so dynamic, and she wondered why we would spend time in the garage hanking out James Brown songs from the Ventures to the Monkees and everything else. And she just put on her bathing suit and say, "What do you guys sweat it out there for? I'm going to the beach." And just make fun of us. And then there was Barbara. And she was just like she really stood out to me. She was like one of those kind of people that that God puts in your life that always had a steady smile. And I never felt any kind of guile, any kind of suspicion. Just like one of those rare people. And I grew up in a family full of that. And I gotta say that she's honestly speaking, she is the one that stayed through the decades in my vision, in my heart, in my mind, as far as what a good person should be about. And I just found out my sister went to Lincoln. And if you know about those times, it went from just about completely all white within the span of, 6 or 7 years to almost all black. And I was in that 1% that was in the non-black. And so,
You're Filipino.
yeah, Filipino white. But my grandfather was a slave baby. Seriously, I just found that out. Went to the Philippines as a Filipino captain, captured as a black slave, went to the Philippines, married a Filipino captain, married his daughter. That was my grandmother. And that was the way that our family kind of mixed together and had so much drama and everything.
Southeast was a melting pot.
Yeah.
Community.
And so.
So we all got along pretty well, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, that was the decade of, Kennedy getting shot, Martin Luther King, and the Watts riots. We moved up there during the Watts riots and everything like that. And after I got back, that's when we had formed a band with Robert. And I was just kind of amazed at, every time I saw them. I mean, his mom was so sweet some of the time.
Yeah.
She'd have me, I braced myself because, she was moody. And at times she gave me like the biggest piece of pie and dinner and everything. And the next time I came over, she gave me a look like, what the hell are you doing over here? And but through it all, I mean, the family was amazing. I mean, to see what happened with the character of them and so forth. Anyway, at the end, Rob was the one that wanted me to come over here. I got here an hour late, and he told me to come over here to do some music. And so he has his trumpet over there, and I brought some music that during those ages, and Mamas and the Papas and stuff like that, and so I'll play in the background. It's up to you guys, but then you want Rob to get his trumpet.
Yeah, go ahead.
To do that, okay, a little bit, I might bring out my guitar. But those were precious times, and they don't just happen by chance. And I'm grateful that we reunited, and Richard, who made me the basketball player I am today. And
They call me Rick Barry, the 3-point specialist.
yeah, they call me Sweet Shot Sam.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I'll put that on in the background while Rob says a few words as well. So God bless you all. God bless the Go Camp family, and be thankful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You guys stand here. Anyway, I'm Robert, and when I was younger, I didn't see a lot of the stuff going on. I just knew my mom and my big sister always had a really good relationship, and it was mostly when they were yelling at each other. But that's a side note. I almost thought that if you drove a red Corvette, you could get a date with my sister. Honestly, you had to have a red Corvette or a car that drove fast. And my sister was in there and she was driving it. I don't know how she got him to let him drive it, but she did that. So I always thought, I got to get a red car. Got to be a Corvette or something that drives fast, because man, I can pick up a babe that way. So, we used to, in my day, we call them babe catchers. You had a nice car, it's called a babe cab. Yeah, come on. Driving down the street, say, hey, babe, and they get in. If it's shiny, it's fast, they get in the seat and they go. And one of her husbands had a Porsche, and my sister was crazy. She said, Robert, this thing hauls butt. You get on it, it goes, and it's just sitting there in the garage in Manhattan. And I'm going, well, go ahead, drive it. She get on that thing and take off and never come back. I don't know, but anyway, that was just a side note I wanted to give everybody. My sister was amazing because she always was so nice to me. And I saw her go through all of her little transitions and stuff, and through it all, she kept her smile. And we'll pray for her. We did a rosary on the way up. We're gonna do a rosary on the way back, and we'll do a mass for her at our church. And God bless her. She got to come to my the church we go to in Barrio Logan, and she really loved the place. It was an amazing church, and she couldn't believe it. And 6 a.m. in the morning, she was there. And God bless her. And I just want to thank everybody for coming out. She was amazing, and we'll keep her in our prayers as we go through.
Anybody? I don't know, are you gonna do some music, or was that just did you want to do, oh, we love the Riveras. They like to come up and talk and share. So here we go, dear. Here you go.
Okay, so while you get the music ready, I'll talk about Barbara and cars. Okay, the Corvette. She blew the engine. Then she had, I think it was a Plymouth, a 48 Plymouth, and she made curtains for that Plymouth.
She did the upholstery on.
She did the upholstery, she upholstered it herself,
That was her first
and then she made curtains. The amazing thing was that Barbara wallpapered her entire house with contact paper. No, with no Bugs My Lady contact paper. Now, I happen to be a wall covering and contractor. Looking back at that, the broad was amazing. Okay, but one day I went to Barbara's house and I wanted to go to the War Memorial because Tina Turner was playing at the War Memorial. Órale. I wasn't supposed to go. And of course, I had nothing to wear. Barbara made me a jumpsuit, a polka dot. This was the 60s, so you can imagine a polka dotted hippie jumpsuit. I wore that thing so proud. I was a bigger star than Tina. She also drove me up and down Manhattan in that Porsche because I was there to do some business, and the guy that I was supposed to do business with got drunk. So I called Barbara. I said, Barbara, I'm in Manhattan. She goes, honey, I'll come down and get you. We're driving through Manhattan, and everybody. Yeah.
Sister and I did the same thing.
Yeah.
We went there.
Barbara spared no expense. No, she just didn't. She was good and she was kind. She was a confidant like nobody. And she was the first person to ever clean my teeth. She took me in on a day off and she did my teeth for me, cleaned my teeth for the very first time in my life. She was amazing. The car stories are all true.
This jumpsuit still fit.
I wish I had it. I wish I had it. It was pretty.
I don't know that. Did anybody else want to come up and, yeah, the musicians are preparing this special presentation here. Wonderful music. You know, Barb, she was definitely a very good dancer and just really enjoyed entertainment and being entertained, and she just loved life. She grew up in that age where I know that she had a profound effect on my my musical likes, and I got introduced by, with Manuel and his brother David, to Motown, and In fact, as a matter of fact, at my daughter's wedding, which was last September, I got to choose some songs. And one that popped into my head is the Temptations' "My Girl." Oh my, I was thinking, Barb, you're to be my girl, that song epitomized Barb. And yeah, the Motown sound, and then of course I threw in a little Stevie Wonder. And yeah, that was special. But thank you, Barb, and Manuel too, because we grew up, man. We grew up with Motown, man. My girlfriend's the Supremes. Diana Ross is just awesome. But anyway, what other music or whatever things you want to share? Anybody? We're still getting ready with the music, and just no need to rush out. And we're gonna do this. And the guys are working on that. So anybody else want to come back up? I mean, we can do seconds again, seconds and thirds. The cool thing about Barb is that she always she loved traveling and to see the world and everything, and she did. She got to see a lot. I'll never forget. There's John, her fourth husband, who I just barely got to know. John, but he was very special, and he really like I said, Barb loved now. There's that classic St. Rita's photo, the Goldcamp family. Oh yeah, there you go. There you go, Nita and Charles Davidson, great uncle, and the girls. Yeah, there's a lot of photos that I haven't seen in many, many years that Barb really enjoyed. Family, of course. Oh, there's the family there at Penasquitos. Yeah, that's a classic, Barb. That's classic. There. Oh yeah. Oh, there you go. A beautiful smile. She just, yeah. A lot of great memories. Aloha time, very, very comfortable. Camping. Yeah, Barb. She and Don Armour, they did a lot of classic camping trips, especially Baja. I never went on any of those myself, but I know Brian and Paul. I remember that we inherited the tent. You guys had this huge tent that you would pitch there and go camping. The guys loved Baja. And there's Poppy, Mr. Rivera. That was a great shot. Okay. Barb, that mature look, the serious. And big brother, Mike couldn't be here, but he's part of that. Get in the picture.
It's a different. It's like traditional in my mind, it's like,